An injured man with a plastic bag on his head wakes up in the woods. His hands are tied behind him so he can't take the bag off. He wanders around in confusion until he finds himself in the middle of a road where a car runs over him. Luckily, he survives, and the driver leaves his car to see if he's alright. He tears the bag on the man's face, and the man immediately starts begging him for his cell phone, claiming his family is in danger. The man takes the driver's phone, and his daughter Danny picks up. He tells her to call the police and not let anyone in before they arrive, but his daughter tells him it's too late and they've shot her mom. The scene changes to Jaime driving to his new home. His wife Marta and his daughter Isa are having a fight because Isa wants to party this evening whilst her mother wants the three of them to stay at home. Isa doesn't like her new home and has an attitude that's concerning to the mother, but Martha remains stubborn on her decision. Martha's distracted by guiding the people moving the items into the new house. Jaime gives his daughter some money to have fun with. At night, Isa helps her mother around the house, but Martha still gets angry when Isa tells her she won't stay with them for supper. While they're arguing over this again, Isa slams the door on Martha. Martha walks over to her husband to complain about their daughter. He tells her it's alright because she's about to hang out with 𝐂𝐸, a friend of hers Martha dislikes. Jaime insists that the two of them let their daughter have some fun. While the two discuss the case, the window behind them breaks, and a burglar enters the house and knocks off Jaime. Seeing this, Isa runs to the front door, just to find two more of the masked burglars standing. Isa struggles to release herself from the man holding onto her. Her head hits the wall and she's knocked out. Martha panics over Isa, whose head is bleeding. Jaime asks one of the masked burglars what they want. The man tells him to take out the credit cards and write down the numbers. Jaime does as he's told. They then ask them to give up their cell phones. The burglars get Martha and Isa's phones, but Jaime tells them his phone is at the office. The burglars call on his phone with Martha's phone, and it starts ringing in the house. As one of the burglars goes around the house looking for Jaime's phone, the others suffocate Martha with a plastic bag. They demand the number to the safe. He gives it to them. One of the burglars separates Jaime from his family and takes him downstairs to the garage. He takes out the knife and cuts off the rope Jaime's hands are tied with. He tells him the two of them need to trust each other since they're about to leave together now. The burglar insists on revealing his face, which Jaime doesn't feel comfortable with. Eventually, Jaime sees the man's face. He asks him to enter the car with him and just keep driving. On the road, he tells Jaime that his family being hurt or not is Jaime himself. They stop near a bank, and the burglar tells him to take out the cards and take out the maximum amount from each card. The burglar can't go to the ATM machine with Jaime, since it has security cameras. He threatens Jaime, saying he'll make a phone call if he tries to ask people for help. A woman gets to the machine before Jaime, so he gets close and tries to ask her for help without making it look suspicious for the burglar looking at them from a distance. The woman hurriedly gives him money and runs away, saying that's all the money she's got. The burglar gets back inside the car, and Jaime follows him, trying to tell him that the woman ran away just for being approached, and he didn't tell her anything. The burglar tells him to enter the car and keep moving. He asks him to stop after a few miles. Then he makes a call to Jaime's family, forcing him to hear his wife and daughter screaming and shouting. Jaime begs for the burglar to stop hurting his family and is told that he gets another chance to save them. The masked men back at home have a quarrel because one of them wants to take advantage of Isa, while the other one stops him because their boss orders otherwise. The phone rings unexpectedly, and the aggressive burglar asks if they're expecting anybody. They keep quiet, so he forcefully takes Isa to the phone, almost losing his cool along the way. Someone rings the door, and Isa screams for 𝐂𝐸, the friend she was to party with, to rescue them. The burglar threatens to kill Martha if Isa makes another sound. They open the door and let 𝐂𝐸 in. They violently ask him who he is and start hitting him, which gives Martha and Isa time to run downstairs to the garage and lock the door behind them. They then start screaming for help. The burglars tell Isa that if they don't open the door, they'll kill 𝐂𝐸. Isa struggles to climb out the window as the masked men torture 𝐂𝐸 and eventually shoot him. Afterwards, the burglar starts hitting the door with a big hammer. Isa manages to escape through the small window but gets jumped by the other burglar. Jaime stands at the ATM machine and asks the man with him why they chose to attack his family. The man doesn't respond, and when Jaime keeps going on about how they can agree to benefit each other without anyone getting hurt, the burglar walks away. Back in the car, the burglar offers Jaime his gun and invites him to take a shot at him. Jaime claims that he only wants this whole thing The burglar goes on to tell him that he doesn't make deals, and the only reason his family's alive is because it's been easy, and the moment it gets difficult, their lives no longer matter. 𝐂𝐿 tries to start the engine but is stopped by the man, who tells him they're going to wait until it's past midnight to get more money from the ATM. Back at home, 𝐬𝐿 and Martha are freaking out. 𝐬𝐿 regrets not opening the door for César, who didn't deserve to die. When the two start crying uncontrollably, the masked men stuff cloth in their mouths to shut them up. The burglar sits in between the two and watches TV, snorting cocaine and eating food. Martha chokes on the cloth in her mouth. The nicer burglar notices that she can't breathe and takes it off. She uses the opportunity to ask for water, which he brings her. The door rings again, but they take Martha to it this time. The burglar tells her to get rid of whoever's at the door, or they'll kill her daughter. The man at the door is the building's security manager, who's here because the neighbors reported hearing screams from her house. She tells him it's her husband who likes the TV loud. The security man doesn't think Martha looks well and asks if he can enter the house. Hearing this, the burglar who had her at gunpoint goes inside and accompanies her with the mask off, introducing himself as her husband. They invite him inside and start their small talk. They offer him some coffee, and when he feels that something's wrong, the now unmasked man drops his act. He attacks him when 𝐬𝐿 screams from downstairs. The burglar slit the security's throat. The two burglars start arguing, one of them accusing the murderer for showing his face and killing an innocent man for nothing. Angrily, he unmasks his partner and shows his face to Martha and 𝐬𝐿. The partner says nothing but that the man is insane. He then hurries to the mother and daughter, trying to take 𝐬𝐿 away. Martha begs him to take her instead of her daughter, but he breaks her arm and tells her he prefers younger women who put in a fight. Martha collapses on the floor as 𝐬𝐿 is dragged away by the burglar. The nice one tries to help her get up and breaks down when she fails to. At the ATM, the burglar that's with 𝐿𝐿 tries calling his friend, but no one picks up, so he decides to go back home. He tells 𝐿𝐿 to keep driving. César is alive and tied in the same room as Martha. He accuses her for being too much of a selfish woman to open the door, but the kind burglar shuts him up. He then hears loud sounds from upstairs and goes to check what it is. He finds his friend raping 𝐬𝐿 and stops him. As the two of them fight, 𝐬𝐿 finds the strength to hit the one who attacked her in the head with a lamp and run out. He chases her to her parents' room, which has no way out. She locks herself inside the bathroom as he beats on the door. He stops for a brief second, and when she gets close to the door, he starts hitting it again. Meanwhile, 𝐿𝐿 and the man are approaching the house. The man tells him to not be too angry by whatever awaits them. He also tells 𝐿𝐿 that the ATM's money isn't enough for them, and they'll have to go to the bank the next day. He tells him not to worry, but 𝐂𝐿 starts speeding instead. The man screams at him to stop, but he doesn't. The car crashes. Inside the bathroom, 𝐬𝐿 awaits with a knife she finds in one of the cabinets. When he finally opens the door, she stabs him, but he grabs onto her clothes to make her stay. They struggle on the floor, but she pokes his eyes. He still doesn't let go of her grip on him, and even knocks her out before going to the mirror to check how his face is doing. 𝐬𝐿 hits him from behind with a metal object, and once he's down, she hits him in the face repeatedly until he's disfigured and dead. At the same time, 𝐿𝐿 wakes up from the car crash and steals the gun from the dead man. The burglar approaches 𝐬𝐿 and asks her to calm down. She runs away and slips on the security's blood, discovering his gun. 𝐬𝐿 points the gun at the last surviving burglar, and even shoots while nervously pointing it. 𝐂𝐿 hears the shot and hurries inside, determined to save his family's life. In a twist of events, the nice burglar who saved 𝐬𝐿 while she was getting attacked and helped her mother slaps her and runs away with the gun and the things he stole from their house. Outside, he comes across 𝐿𝐿, and the two point their guns at each other but go their separate ways in peace. 𝐂𝐿 calls out for his family and finds 𝐬𝐿 first. They then reunite with Martha. 𝐂𝐿 takes César's phone and goes upstairs to call the police and report what happened. From behind him, the man who was in the car with him appears and hits 𝐿𝐿 twice, killing him. Martha screams when she sees this and pulls out a gun. She pulls the trigger but doesn't shoot because she forgot a step. He takes the gun and shoots her in the head. César and 𝐬𝐿 are next to arrive. César immediately runs to the door but gets killed before he can reach there. 𝐬𝐿 falls on her knees in shock from what she'd just witnessed. The man grabs her and stabs her in the stomach multiple times, and with that, the movie ends. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.